Anyone there?
Health Images Longmont.
In my shoe. Ain't got no.
I recently drove out to Missouri in the USA to visit some family, and I saw this tree, and I was quite intrigued by it. And I started looking around, and I noticed there were other trees in the area that had a similar look. And I took a series of photographs. And when I got home, I thought, well, maybe I'll try to build one, something like that. So this is my attempt. So far. I'm pretty well finished with the wire frame. Well, we're going to have to contend with this flicking off and on business. I built the wire frame. Pretty happy with it. I beefed up the bottom with some modeling clay. You can sort of see the reddish tint through the molding paste. Probably needs a little more molding paste down there. This is fiber paste. It gives you a nice texture. A very fine bark-like texture with the right brush. And it's actually kind of my preferred modeling paste for now. I use them all, but, well, I don't buy all of them, but I've used a number of them. I have several here in stock, but my favorite seems to be this fiber paste. Then I'll show you the bottle or the jar. These techniques are something I learned from Boomer dioramas, and I've sort of been developing on my own since I got started. I mean, that's the way you need to do it. If you're going to get into it, you have to start with an idea and then kind of experiment and make it your own. Yeah, it's coming along nicely. I used to be able to build a tree pretty quickly, but anymore I've gotten to the point where I'm more into the enjoyment of building them rather than cranking them out. And I have a tendency to build them very slowly now, whereas I raced to get them accomplished in the beginning. I'm going to have to put on my glasses here so that I can see what I'm doing. It's horrible getting old. Can't see very well anymore. Can't hear very well anymore. Seem to think okay most of the time. My imagination seems to be just fine. And my inventiveness, my agility, however, is really not too good. And I injured my back here recently. I was replacing a deck on the house here. It had an original deck that was all, well, it was a very early artificial plank. And it was sawdust and some sort of binder pressed together. And it was okay. It lasted 25 years, I guess, or thereabouts. But it was just not satisfactory anymore. So I decided to replace it with a product called Trex. You've probably heard of it. And of course, the screws that they used to put the original deck on were square drive. And whoever had installed the deck had installed the screws with great gusto and driven them deep into the planks. Consequently, I couldn't back them out. So I had to rip them all out. I'll have to switch to my phone if this keeps up much longer, which will mean I'll have to lose this feed and start a new one. So if you're watching, and I think there's a couple of you watching, there's 3 people watching. If you lose me again, just stand by and I'll get back online, but it'll be at a new URL probably. I put most of this modeling paste on this morning and then stopped for lunch. And it's set up a bit, enough that I can recoat, because if it's still real soft, can't really recoat effectively. It pulls it off. So now I'm going back and adding a little in the places that didn't look quite the way I wanted them to. Building up some of the areas. Where the wire was showing through. Used a tremendous amount of wire on this one. Perhaps I could have come up with a different method, but this is the one I know. And for a tree as intricate and busy, I would call it busy, as this species seems to be, no idea what it is, Didn't have any leaves on it. Perhaps later in the year, I'll get somebody to either identify it for me or send me some leaves and I can identify it myself. What this paste, this modeling paste does for you is first of all, it hides the wire and it gives the tree a little body and you can shape it to some extent. I shouldn't say it hides the wire, it fills in the wire so that you don't see the wire as much as you see the shape. I think it may be some form of oak tree. Not an English oak, certainly, but some form of oak. It was growing in Missouri, USA. One thing I've noticed, there are a number of similarities to Missouri and the UK. Not so much in its people, but the landscape and the density of forestation and some other things that just remind me, I don't know. I don't think Missouri is not quite as big as the UK. I think it would take about 2 Missouris to make the UK. I don't know. I'm just kind of guessing. As you know, I'm quite fond of the UK. I have quite an interest in it for some reason. Probably had something to do with living there when I was a kid, little kid. Well, if there is, I have no idea what it is. If somebody knows anything about cameras, this is a Sony FDR AX, I don't know, 55 or something like that. And I have a dongle connected to it, to its HDMI output. And that is plugged into my computer with a USB port at the USB port. USB 2, I think. I have the computer is USB 3 capable, but I don't seem to have anything that can talk to it over USB 3. Those pylons that I built, they were also kind of inspired by Boomer. He works in plastic. In fact, he's building a tugboat now out of styrene. It's amazing what he can do. Of course, he's no mere beginner. You know, he's been a professional modeler for years and years. So he has all kinds of knowledge and skills. I don't have enough time left on this earth to ever come close to his skill level. But it doesn't matter. I'm certainly enjoying what I'm doing. And I'm getting very satisfactory results, at least satisfactory to me. And that's really all that matters, isn't it? And I find this a really enjoyable way to while away an afternoon or a morning or even a whole day, just building things for the layout. You're probably wondering how I think a Missouri tree is going to fit into this. Well, the trees I've built, I don't think they're very species specific. So this won't really be much of a stretch. I'll probably work on this another day or so. Getting the branches textured and filled in. And then I'll paint it. And then I'll start to try to figure out how I'm going to put the foliage on and what I'm going to do for foliage. By the way, I'm going to Getz this year, the Great Electric Train Show in the UK, or hope I am anyway. I bought a ticket. I'm having some pretty serious back trouble though at the moment. But I think that's the only thing that could prevent me from going. There's also a YouTube meet and greet here in Colorado, which I will be going to. Go up to the Colorado Model Railroad Museum Friday. I think it's this Friday. Yeah, I believe it's this Friday. And then they were having a dinner at Cinzetti's here locally on Sunday night. I'm going to go to that too, or hope to. And I think my lovely wife, Michelle, is going to accompany me to both events. Which makes it nice for me. She appreciates the modeling work I do, but she's not really into it. You know, it's not her thing. She's into quilting and gardening, other things. Had a big storm last night here. Hail, lightning, lots of rain, rained all night long, I think. Unfortunately, we got a little flooding in the train room. Not much, just a little on the floor. I don't think it's caused any damage to the layout or anything, or any of the storage underneath the table. But it is a little disconcerting. It's never done it before, but I don't know what I may have changed when I replaced the top of the deck. I don't think I changed much of anything, but the other deck, water did not go through it very well. And this deck has 1/4-inch gaps between every plank. So water can certainly go down. A lot of hail. Lots of hail. I've been in a lot of hailstorms. They usually don't last that long. 10, 15, 20 minutes maybe. But this one went on for half an hour. It was a huge storm. So I don't know if that had any impact on the situation or not. Well, we are making progress on the tree. I think I'm going to have to switch to my phone. The picture is so good with this camera, but I don't know why it keeps turning off and on. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to end this stream and I'm going to grab my phone and set it up and hook it in and get it going. So I'll be gone for about 10 minutes, and then I'll be back with a different streaming device. So bye for now, and I'll be back.